Just before we dive back into the episode, I wanted to quickly share something that might interest you, especially if today's conversation has got you thinking about your own sustainability work. Some of the things we hear most in this industry are, I wish I could connect with other people doing this work, or I'd love to turn my sustainability expertise into something more. Well, 51 to Carbon Zero, the sponsor of this podcast, have created their own referral network. And it does exactly that. This isn't about selling you something, it's actually about helping you make money while building the sustainability community we all need. So here's what's in it for you. First, you get to join a genuine community of sustainability experts who share knowledge, refer work to each other, and solve problems together. So, no more working in isolation. Secondly, there's real money involved. There's 10% plus commission on software referrals. We're talking about projects that go from 30 grand up to 100 grand. Plus, you'll be able to boost your presence by taking part in our fireside chats. I've actually got an email in front of me from Louise Stevens, one of the ambassadors, and it says that all her clients are genuinely happy because she's got a great partner and her clients love them. But here's the bigger picture. You'll be helping accelerate the sustainability transition that we all desperately need. Every referral, every connection, every collaboration moves us closer to the world we're all working towards. If this resonates with you and you want to earn some extra income, click the link in our show notes to become a 51 to Carbon Zero ambassador. Okay, back to the show. Welcome back to the Green Element podcast, where we feature business leaders and innovators transforming their operations to be more environmentally and socially sustainable. I'm your host, Will Richardson, and I can't wait to meet our guest today and help you on your journey of sustainability. Julio, welcome to the Green Element podcast. Fourth time lucky. I hope you are really good today, and I am really looking forward to finding out more about your education business, is how you describe it, and it'd be great hearing in your words what it is that you guys do. Please.
Yes, Will. I'm super happy to be here today for the first time, having fun. I'm the founder of Sharing Knowledge International, a company where we enable powerful personal transformations to drive business, career, and life fulfillment. So how our business works is that for our consumers, we offer them different coaching packages. So one is on business advisory to make sure that people start and grow their business. The second part being career crafting, making sure that people actually create a career that's tailored to them, and transformational coaching, because we are all about enabling people to become the best version of themselves. And then for our corporate clients, we offer them trainings, knowledge consultancy, and speaking engagements to make sure that companies become smarter, they think smarter, they operate smarter, and they have smart goals to work with.
That's really cool. And I think what sparked my interest was the way that you describe your business and people, is that we help organizations become more sustainable and more environmental, and you help people become more sustainable and potentially probably more environmental, I would imagine, as well.
Yeah, sure. So it really started with my own background. So in 2019, I was nominated the most outstanding delegate at Global Goals Model of the United Nations in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So that really gave me a background in understanding the UN, the global goals, but also not only understanding them as a sort of like a principles that as individuals we must operate with, but also how we can take that into a more organizational level. And I was managing this incubation program at the time, and one of our main activities was this boot camp, all tailored around the global goals model. So really making sure that business was starting out being consciousness, like with being super conscious about the environment and super conscious about how people will feel, and from this place being able to generate revenue. Now, fast forwarding for my current company, one of my signature trainings I call, usually it's just using social impact as a business growth hormone. And this is where most people don't get it. If you look at the statistics, it's insane how much people have changed throughout the years. So to give you just like a few numbers here, according to Gallup, only 33% of American workers are engaged in their job. The remaining 52%, they're just showing up, and 72% of people are completely disengaged. So this means the company are literally leaving their money behind. And this super ends up connecting with social impact, because if you look on how the workforce is right now, many research are saying that at least 36% of the workforce is Gen Z, and actually 75% of our workforce right now are composed by millennials. And one thing about those two generations is that we are super passionate about impact. So we don't want
Yeah.
to just show up at work and make sure that we have money in our pockets. We want to know that we matter. We want to know that our actions are actually contributing to a better environment. We want to know that we are contributing to a sort of like a global peace, as you like to call it, right? And we are not only like the majority of the workforce, we are also the majority of the market. And this is being sort of like portrayed in the market itself, because you go ahead and look that $500 billion is available for global impact investing right now. So there is a huge opportunity for companies to grow by tapping into social impact. And not only that, if you watch on the trends, in like 2011, only 20% of companies listed in the S&P 500 reported having consistent CSR program. In 2060, that number increased to 82%. So if you are a business owner and you're trying to grow your business, tapping into social impact and therefore environmental community impact, it's a huge, huge opportunity to grow your business.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what sparked and triggered my interest when you did reach out to me was we need more people like you in to help organizations, because actually it doesn't come naturally to an awful lot of people, this journey. And I think what also is brilliant is you're based in Mozambique and you've got businesses all over the world. You are like the is there a definition, not Generation Z or millennial? You're like the I don't know, the modern equivalent of the future generation, as it were. You're running a business across the whole world, and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, there's something that people will never talk about like a few years ago. And even today, a lot of people have resistance in terms of like, so you're based in Mozambique in Africa, and we have clients in the US, and you have clients in Europe and in Asia. How does it work, right? I found it super amazing, because especially right now where I cannot physically travel, at least I get to connect with people from different cultures, and really get to have a sense of how the world is really going, because it's so easy for us to feel trapped in our own reality, right, in our like box, and think that, oh, Mozambique or Africa is the world, but that's not true. Like, and one thing that I'm super grateful to realize is that even though we are different, we are at the core the same. We just showcase and we operate differently, but like the core things that motivates is every single one of us. It doesn't really matter who you are, where you were born, your gender, your race, are basically the same things.
Don't you reckon? Do you feel fortunate or privileged to be able to say what you've just said? Because I, for one, absolutely love. I mean, I love talking to people. Full stop, actually. But I do also really love talking to people from loads of different cultures and around the world. And I kind of feel like I'm traveling. So I've traveled to Mozambique for this podcast, and I feel like, and I'm sitting in a garden shed just north of Edinburgh in the UK. It is sunny, but it could be raining.
100%. I'm super privileged and I'm aware of it. Even the impact that I can have just by tapping into social media or a podcast like yours, like people from the UK are listening to me right now, and I'm still
Yeah.
in my bedroom, in my little bedroom, having this conversation with you. So yeah, it's amazing the part of the internet, and it's super tied up with the environmental causes that you're speaking, because online we get to like cut a lot of the costs of having a headquarters with people in there and operating in there, and I get to tap into talent from all over the world literally just by having access to the internet and advice.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a part of it, isn't it? And I think it'll be interesting with, I mean, with COVID and with the current situation, how that will accelerate that thinking. I was actually, fun enough, I had a conversation with a guy who's managing director of an events business in the UK, and their turnover from usually March to now is between £4 and £5 million. They've had a turnover of £8,000.
Yeah.
So that just shows the shrinkage that's just happened. But what he did say was, this is a time to reset. This is a time for our industry to go, is this the way forward? Are we doing the right things? Should we not change our whole business model and look at the way that we're doing it? And it is business leaders like that we actually need to have in those big and bigger businesses, because it's all very well for us to talk about it, but we actually need a lot of the other businesses from a wider field and the much larger businesses to be thinking basically outside the box and
Yeah,
holistically.
100%, 100%. I totally agree. I guess that for the past 10 to 20 years, really, people have been really focused in running business as usual, but never really thinking of the business they will be tomorrow. And what I love about 2020 is sort of like forcing every single one of us to stop, take a really good look about around where our business is currently at, and then how we can shift into the future. Because again, to me, it's super amazing how every single system is being shifted and transformed really. Like the healthcare system, the educational system, how business work on a daily basis. And for me, this is literally the time where you get to reinvent and knowing not only how you can make money today but in the future.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, how do you? I guess because of the people that are listening to this podcast are business professionals and from all over the world. I think the main listenership is from the UK, but I think we do definitely have a large reach in the US and from all around. So it'd be great to hear from you guys what it is that we are speaking about, and if you've got any thoughts on this, because I think it's we we are looking at green element, at now businesses environmental footprint, and we're looking at the impact from a home point of view, as in how much energy you're using, what is compared to what you would be using in an office. And we've always been like you, Julio, where we're actually quite remote. We've got a remote working office that we had before, but it was only somewhere that we could meet up. But we're not a big company; we're only 10 people, so therefore, you know, we're able to do that. But I think from an environmental point of view, I think it's just an interesting way forward, and we're going to see a massive change.
100%. Even in my own business, considering my background, I'm always super focused on making sure that we are sustainable, environmental sustainable. And as an educational business, it's super hard to go around using of paper, for instance, right? Like even though a lot of our tools they're online, you can use in your computer. I have to acknowledge the power that you can feel by actually writing things down with your own handwriting, right? So I can be responsible around how my entire business processes are structured to make sure that we don't use paper at all. We can just approve things online, but then I have little to zero control around how my clients will use those tools, right? A lot of people prefer to print them out and actually fill them in. So yeah, one of the things that even myself, who I already running an online business, is that we took a step back to rethink how we can enhance the experience that people are having with our company to make sure that they are not only getting more value out of our offer, but how do they remain more sustainable and how they increase their level of sustainability, not only in terms of the environment, but even in terms of I don't want people to coach someone today or to work in a company today on a specific challenge and have them coming back in a few years for the exact same thing, right? I want them to be able to be self-sustainable in the long run.
And what sort of businesses do you have coming to you?
Honestly, every single type. Most of them are service providers, either providing services for companies to grow and scale. But we have people who run coffee shops, and they have to adapt because right now, coffee shops are not really like operating as they used to do it. We have big companies like one of my clients. They're based in Tunisia, in North Africa, and they're looking to expand their programs to other African countries. So we have really clients from every single business stage, but mostly they are either starting or growing their businesses. And something that we found that every single one of them has is this sense of being more self-sustainable, so they don't get to rely that much into external stakeholders.
And how do people find out about you?
So a lot of them find out via recommendations because when people work with us, they really value what we did for them and end up recommending us for other people. But of course, via social media. I'm a millennial. I won't lie. That I'm super pumped in social media. So people find me over there on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That's when a lot of our clients come through.
Hmm. Okay, interesting. And do you do you have to change the way that you speak to people, say from Tunisia to the US? As in not. I mean, you may be speaking in English, but the language or the type of the way that you have to say to something to someone is it. Do you find you have to speak slightly differently, or are you just yourself in every situation?
I guess there is a fine balance between being yourself and getting your message across because it's so easy for anyone to be authentic and just spread their message. But most of the times they will not be sharing it because if you're spreading, it's you just giving people out whatever you want to give out. But if you're sharing, you are building things together with other people. So I found that even though I remain authentic on who I am, on how I work, and how I operate, I have to be able to be flexible in understanding, for instance, different power dynamics within organizations. So, for instance, a company in the US, let's say if I'm working with their R&D department, it's so easy for them to communicate with their like CEOs and top tier levels. That's not the same thing if I'm working with a company based in Singapore when there's like a huge sort of like power distance between people in different positions, right? So the way that we speak ends up being different, and also the examples that we use. So if I'm with a client from the US, I can speak about Target and Macy's and stuff like that, but those things don't really exist in Africa. So I might speak about Woolworths. I can give example of local African entrepreneurs. The same thing if I'm speaking with people in the US, we have or the UK, we have sort of different constraints and different challenges that we have to adapt to in order to really make sure that they have value out of our conversations.
And I'm curious to know now how you contextualize your because you've just used examples, so you're clearly have you traveled a lot?
I did.
Uh, okay, just because you're able to pull in different contextual kind of points of reference within, say, the US or within different. So either you've read an awful lot or you've travelled a lot, and I was just trying to work it because that is actually a you. I think a really kind of fine point, isn't it? Because people do like to be able to have that comparison or be able to have that contextual comparison to what it is that they're doing. And if you're able to do that in whatever country you're in, that's a really good, amazing skill to have, actually.
Yeah, thanks. Like actually what I guess most people don't realize is that if you're in educational business like me, you are in a transformational business. You are making sure that people transform into the best version of themselves and they transform their life to their business, right? And in every transformation, if you connect with someone in an intellectual or mental level, that's not going to be enough. I mean, how many of us know that in order to, let's say, lose fat and gain muscle, you have to focus on your diet and your exercise and your sleep. But how many of us are actually doing that? Even though we know on a mental level that's what we should be doing, right? It's because transformation also implies an emotional level. We need to have an emotional connection. And I found that with stories and examples, that's how people relate. That's how we create connections with whatever we're trying to work with. And of course, the last component is making sure that people have practical action steps. Because you can sit all day strategizing, all day conceptualizing your project. If you don't actually take the steps to make things happen, nothing will change. So yeah, I have a combination of travels, and also I'm in several international networks, and with my clients I learn a lot. I'm not afraid to ask, so what actually Target looks like, right? Like, what is like your culture going to Target? I'm not afraid to ask those questions. That's how I learn.
So I guess it's also personality driven then, isn't it? Because you've clearly got the personality to be able to grow a business worldwide, and you probably not everyone has that personality. I would hazard a guess. Really, I mean, I think that's fair to say. To be fair, isn't it?
Well, I agree with you. And one thing about personality that most people are also not aware of is that personality isn't fixed. I mean, you can check doctors as Benjamin Hart and several others who say that if you look at your personality as, introvert, extrovert, or this or that as something fixed, that's the same thing as you looking for a horoscope and believing that that's the description about who you are. And they don't believe in horoscopes, right?
Yeah,
But thing
yeah,
is, we've become so trapped into our past self that we know, right? Like the Julio that I was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 months ago, is not the same Julio that's speaking with you right here, right now, right?
yeah.
But if we stop focusing about who we were in the past and we start asking, so who do I want to become in the future? We end up embodying the characteristics that allow us to be that version of ourselves. Like a quick exercise for everyone listening is that it actually comes from, it's based on the Superman type of thing. When you have Al Kal-El, when with the glasses he becomes Clark Kent, and then
Oh
if you
yeah,
have his suit he becomes Superman. You can test
yeah.
it out. You can have like a bracelet, a ring, a shirt, whatever, and you just decide that whatever you are wearing that stuff, you're going to have a different characteristic. It can be you're going to be more focused, or you will be better at saying no, or you'll be better at bouncing back from rejection, whatever it is. And it's actually our psychology working in. It's the same way that we do with kids. We offer them a blanket and they go super crazy with their blanket. And all of a sudden, they can be alone in a room without crying because they have their blanket. It works with us even as adults. So you can have those mental cues to allow you to embody a best version of yourself. Definitely.
And is that the sort of thing that you talk about and
Yeah.
you work with your clients on?
One of them, because I found that like it took me a long time to figure that out, because for the longest time, like I've been doing this for 7 years now, like working in personal development and business design. For the last 5 years I was super into making sure that people had the strategies to grow their business, but I found like, and I had pretty good success rates, like 80% of my clients were able to grow their revenue for at least 60% in 1 year. But then I was concerned about the other 20%. So what makes them not have great results as well, right? And I found out that just like the health example, if you have the strategies, all you have to do is have the right strategy, implemented in the right time, and with the right target. That's it. But what stops you to actually do that is your identity, your mindset, and your energetic work, right? Because and if you see people who actually get the strategy and implement them, in the future, they start having imposter syndrome because they feel they're not the person that actually is doing that, right? They are disconnected with their results. So also a way to be that is making sure that people upgrade their identity and they become the person who is committed, who is focused, who is actually delivering those results, and having the mindset that allows them to navigate throughout different sort of environments and then being an energetic match to the things that they want to have. I know it sounds a little bit woo woo, but it's like all backed up with quantum physics and actual results that people have in the long term.
So, what's your background?
So fun story. I am a I have a bachelor degree on agricultural engineering, with a major in agribusiness. I did a bunch of other sort of like courses. I have a digital marketing specialization. I have plenty of trainings around adult education, around building entrepreneurship training methodologies and mentoring programs. And a lot of the things that I know come from having great mentors and great coaches to support me throughout this process. And I take a lot of moments to reflect, and that's how I'm being able to sort of withdraw insights that other people are not. Because a lot of us, we are sort of like in autopilot, right? We're constantly doing things and never really taking time to stop and think about our results. So that's why I'm being able to also pick points and examples from different industries as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. It's been really interesting talking to you. Thank you so much for this. And so where do we find out you've said that you're on all the social media channels. Is it your name that we look for? Is it your company name?
Yeah, so you can look for my name, Julio Muhorro. That's JULIO MUHORRO. And on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can find my company LinkedIn page, Sharing Knowledge International. And we would love to have a conversation with you guys over there.
Brilliant. And we'll be putting all of that up on our page on the podcast. Thank
Sure.
you very much, Julio. Thank you for your time today. It's been really interesting talking to you.
Thank you, Will. It was a pleasure.
Today we've got Julio on, and he is a real character. And we usually have businesses on talking about how they help people themselves become more sustainable, environmental. And this time we've got someone that helps you become more sustainable, environmental. It's I know we've had some coaches on in the past, and so I thought it'd be really useful and interesting to hear about what he does and how he helps people become more sustainable. And he is based in Mozambique, works all over the world, and is quite frankly an absolute gentleman. And I've really enjoyed talking to him. So I hope you enjoy listening to this podcast. Slightly different to what we normally have, but as equally as enjoyable and knowledgeable. So you really enjoy sustainability and want to be a part of the solution. Come and join our vibrant community now. Book a call and we can talk more.